I love it and how I messed up. Our product today is the Kaito KA500 5-way powered solar-powered dynamo crank. This Kaito KA500 5-way powered is sold by Kaito. 6-way powered portable emergency radio with hand crank generator, solar panel compartment for 3A, 8 batteries not included, 5 USB input, 5 AC/DC input with a wall power adapter sold separately, built-in NIM replaceable and rechargeable battery pack. Comprehensive coverage of AM, FM, 12-band shortwave, and 7 pre-programmed NOAA weather channels for entertainment, sports talk shows, breaking news around the world, and 247 real-time weather forecasts USA and Canada, only with P's public emergency alert system. Works as an emergency mobile battery charger with built-in standard DC-5 USB output port for charging mobile devices. Other features include a filled reading lamp, LED flashlight, and a red LED SOS beacon light. Telescopic antenna extends up to 14.5 for high sensitivity reception, assisted by advanced semiconductor circuitry design and LED signal strength. Indicator for pinpoint tuning accuracy, and built-in speaker delivers loud and crispy sound. Made of strong premium impact-resistant and weight-resistant ABS material suitable for both indoors home office use and outdoors recreational activities. 4.6 out of 5 stars. The Kaito KA500 5-way powered has a total of 11,542 reviews. Product linked in the description below. The first review is from PM. I love it and how I messed up. 5.0 out of 5 stars. There's lots to review on this radio because of its many features, so for people who don't like long reviews, the short story is that it's way better than I'd ever hoped, that I highly recommend it both for emergency and for everyday use, and that readers should at least scroll down to the part where I tell how I messed up the initial charge. It does everything they say it will, and does it better than any radio I've had. Otherwise, you'll get no charge. I don't really like the NOAA alerts anyway because the Midland beeps so loud for alerts that it could give anyone a heart attack, which sort of defeats the purpose of preserving one's life in an emergency. Be sure to read the manual. It's just a leaflet, but it's full of info and deserves careful study. I know that seems an un-American thing to do, but read it anyway. This little radio has so many features that it's really necessary to know the precise settings, etc. required for each one. You'll be glad you did, I think. I'm going to read mine over again to be sure I understand all the features. The manual should answer most questions a new buyer will have, and reading it will give you something to do while waiting for the initial 6-hour charge for those who got the AC adapter. Of course, being an American, I didn't read it all before I started using the Kaito, but that's what one should do. This is how I messed up. And it's all in English. No leafing through 10 other languages before you come to the one you want. I've been so excited about this terrific little radio that I forgot until just now that my favorite candy also came in this shipment. Yes, I love my Kaito. I'm very pleasantly surprised at how great it is, and I heartily recommend it except to people who want to throw it in their Jeep's floorboard or let the kids toss it around. This is what I've wanted for many years. Pros: shortwave, AM/FM NOAA weather solar crank 2AA battery charge, or an optional AC plug, reading and flashlight, cell phone charger, and 1 or 2 more that I haven't tried. Good reception, at least to my satisfaction certainly, but I'm not radio savvy. Cons: none yet. I don't know how it will hold up over the long haul, especially since I use it every day, and I don't know what will happen if I need service. And I haven't tried the cell phone charger. But the Kaito is cheap enough that even if I break something and have to throw it out, I'll have paid no more than I did for the 2 NOAA desktop weather radios I already bought, not to mention quite a few other radios which only picked up or claimed to pick up NOAA stations. And if I do break it, I will probably buy another and try to be more careful. I don't think the value can be beaten. Now for the details. Other condensed points for readers who are pressed for time: keep the box in a 2-gallon Ziploc bag. It may come in handy someday. See below if you want to listen to the radio. I think the manual says the radio works better not plugged into the AC adapter if you ordered one, because it will cause some interference. I had looked at this radio for many months or longer, but was always put off by some negative reviews. They said it was flimsy, wouldn't pull in stations, etc. I kept looking for reviews all over the web and didn't see these criticisms and wondered why. Finally, I noticed the dates of those critical reviews. They were from around 2012, and I didn't see those complaints in more recent reviews. So I figured that maybe the company did have some problems with quality control in past years, which they overcame. So I decided to take a chance. After all, it was a great price, and I have spent way over that on weather radios that didn't last very long either, and had no features except NOAA stations. And those weather radios are hard to find the right place for, unlike the Kaito, which fits anywhere and so far seems to get great reception anywhere. When I opened the box, everybody said, "Oh, how cute." True, not too much, but some. I wouldn't care if it was uglier than homemade sin, if it performed, and it does way beyond anything I could have expected. I'm seriously impressed. This will not be an emergency radio, but my everyday radio now. It is cute, or rather I would say stylish and thoughtfully designed. You can see the photos yourself. I will say, however, that while it gives the appearance of being a really tough field radio, I would doubt it's that tough. Some pieces look a little flimsy, but I'm thinking of the metal sliding piece that turns on the reading light and flashlight. Since I intend to set it on a shelf or carry it out in the yard, maybe to solar charge sometimes, I feel it's sturdy enough for my purposes. I wouldn't throw it in the back of a Jeep and go off-road unless I had a case for it. The crank that some reviewers complained about seems very good to me, having had several crank radios or flashlights before. Usually it's just a little hum, and I often play the radio plugged in, but I think you are supposed to unplug it when you turn it off so the battery doesn't overcharge. I haven't tried the solar panel yet, but in the nuclear reactor that we call a climate here, I'm thinking it will work pretty well. In the past, I didn't have much luck with solar equipment some years ago when I lived in a climate more suitable for habitation, so you be the judge of your local sunshine. I know people here who grow beautiful vegetable gardens in what I'd call the shade eye. Just a few hours of sun a day, so it's a really... I'm not in a position to really criticize the solar panel yet, so look at other reviews to find out about that. Preferably people who don't live in Africa or on the equator or near me. That is one improvement the company might make. I think they are justifiably proud of this radio. Probably some talented people have worked hard on it. I really like to see a company take pride in their product and try to respond to constructive criticisms to improve it, or even just to care if the consumer is satisfied. Check the date on critical reviews and look for reviews elsewhere on the net. They seem anxious to make this product the best they can and solicit user feedback. If this little radio becomes a good seller, as it ought, a good case like this would cost a good bit. But since this is, among other things, an emergency radio, some people might appreciate the convenience of a traveling case instead of having to make their own, because anything as vital as a radio in an emergency needs to be well protected from hard knocks and bad weather. For now, I'll just keep the box it came in to pack it in if I ever have to be evacuated or something horrible like that. The box would do fine actually, instead of a special case, if you only need to transport it on rare occasions, since the box protected the radio just fine during shipment. But I'd put it in a plastic bag to weatherproof it for such transport, which could involve bad weather, chemicals, radiation, whatever. I put my box in a 2-gallon Ziploc bag, and there's room left for cords or small electronics plus the manual. So actually, selling an optional carrying case might not really be necessary, if you just keep the box for carrying. How I messed up before I forget. I should mention how I messed up, to spare others of my ilk somewhat clumsy and careless. He can't be the only one from this boo-boo. The manual said to charge it for 6 hours using the AC adapter if you ordered one extra before first use, so I did. There's an internal battery that must be connected before charging, and I did that per manual instructions. I did and decided the current radio would probably be good, and I'm happy. I noticed that the battery access cover was just slightly ackilter, and I wondered why, but I plugged it in and waited impatiently for 6 hours. When I tried it out, not one thing happened. From having similar radios in the past, I thought batteries, 3AA batteries, would probably still work, so I opened the battery bay and saw that the internal battery, which I had plugged in, had become unplugged before I even started the 6-hour charge. I plugged it in more carefully to be sure it was well seated and tried again. But after waiting 6 hours, I had to see if it would pick up any stations at all, so, well, I didn't wait for the proper 6-hour charge before I tried it, as the manual said to do. I figured I could always buy another internal battery if I messed this one up. I don't live in a great spot. It had the clearest reception of any radio I have, even the car radio. At least the stations I like in it speak for the others. It picks up FM stations I never knew existed, and in the evening scads of stations on Swone and Swone. Shortwave stations are more limited during the day, which I think is to be expected, but the ones that do come in are loud and clear. Read the manual. My knowledge of shortwave is limited to using my father's, set years ago, and I expected to be constantly writening the stations as they drifted in and out. To some extent, I do have to with the Kaito, but nothing like I did years ago. Besides, I consider this the full interactive shortwave experience. So no, it's not digital, but I don't care. Also, this good reception is without the optional antenna, which I didn't order initially. I'm curious now to see if I could get even better reception with that. I also like the small size of this jewel. It's easy to find a spot for it. And in this one radio I can switch from AM to FM to SW bands to NOAA weather just to get the daily forecast fast, use emergency lights, etc. I have 2 other AM/FM radios which I have to put in bizarre locations to pick up a few stations, and I am getting rid of those. It's short and very good. I have a couple of weather radios that I may give away or store since I don't have much space. This Kaito runs rings around all the others that I have, plus has shortwave and more charging options. A reading light, a flashlight, a cell phone charger, though the manual says don't expect too much of that, like using it with a totally dead battery, yet they say it works within limitations, and can use the optional external antenna plus another couple of features I haven't looked. I also have an Eaton American Red Cross radio, but I was never really happy that it had no shortwave. I really wanted shortwave because I just like listening to the weird stations, but also because if there were a big disaster in my area, I still might be able to pick up some news from other countries or locations. The Eaton doesn't seem to have AM/FM either now that I look at it. It quit working, so I put it up and later realized what might be the problem. I just now cranked it, and it works fine by that method, but only for weather, so I wouldn't recommend it unless NOAA weather is all you care about. If so, an Eaton would be fine, but why not get something you can use every day? Incidentally, desktop weather radios that are so popular can also be fragile. I now have a Midland, which I got to replace my first desktop NOAA radio that was promoted by the local television station. I can't remember if that was a Midland 2 or not, but I knocked it off the table and ruined it. Be sure to plug in the internal battery correctly and securely before the initial 6-hour charge if you get the optional AC adapter. A teeny plastic piece held the antenna connection, and that broke, so I had to toss it. The Kaito's weather radio picks up several stations in my area, and I just had to turn the knob from stations 1 to 7 to find the one I prefer. No codes needed, and none of the ordeal of going through every state and county in the USA to find my station, as I have to do with my Midland weather radio. Again, NOAA comes in extremely well. I forgot I have yet more crank weather radios which don't pick up anything at all. I guess that's 2 more radios I can toss now. I might keep the white Midland like most people use, since I already have it, and I'll just use it for alerts. I'm not sure how to use the Kaito for alerts. It certainly has that feature, but I see no need to risk running down the battery just before I need it for an emergency since I already have the Midland. I'm not sure if I can plug the Kaito in and set it on NOAA alert because I think the manual says not to overcharge the radio and to unplug it when not in use. Guess I should ask the company about that. Featured on today's show, featured as the weather radio that everyone should keep in their home and car in case of emergency by Today contributor Jill Bauer. Introducing the Kaito KA500 Voyager, a portable receiver designed for both daily use emergency preparedness applications. 7500 mAh NIM3, 6600 mAh NIM3, 6600 mAh NIM3, 2000 mAh Lion cell phone charger speaker dual stereo single mono dimensions approximate 9, 5x5, 5x2, 56x2x 3 inches 8, 25x5x2, 25x5x2, 25/9, 5x2. As an emergency preparedness tool, it offers different methods to power up, including an AC/DC adapter sold separately, a built-in rechargeable battery that can be charged by the optional AC adapter, hand cranking, or a USB power source, and the patented flip-up 180-degree adjustable solar panel provides power for the radio 2x5, 5 inches 8, 25 safety features, USB mobile phone charger for both iOS and Android devices, LED flashlight. Don't be fooled by other so-called weather radios. Chances are they are not certified by National Weather Service or authorized to use its logo, as the Kaito Voyager KA500 is. FM 88-108 MMW, 530-1710, NOAA Weather 162, 400,162. 425,162, 450,162, 475,162. With its revolutionary design and versatile functions, it's not only an ideal choice of a radio for everyday use around the house, but also an indispensable tool for emergency preparedness purposes, traveling, camping, backpacking, and other outdoor activities. 50,162, 525,162, 55 continuous band SWON 3, 28, Zeromes STRO 9, 022. Zeromes be prepared for the worst. Life is full of uncertainties. Emergencies often occur unexpectedly, and natural disasters sometimes strike without any warning signs. The least we could do is to be prepared by having important emergency supplies readily available. Such simple and easy actions will make all the difference should our worst fear be realized. With Kaito's revolutionary Voyager KA500 6-way powered multifunctional emergency radio, together we can make a difference. The KA500 has a wide range of band reception, including AM, FM, shortwave, and NOAA weather stations. A radio makes a world of difference. Over the years, Kaito has proudly supplied millions of radios and lanterns to the State Department, the United States Army, the United Nations, American Red Cross, and other government agencies and NGOs for their humanitarian relief efforts. It's hard to believe, but oftentimes a radio is the only way to connect with the outside world in some parts of the globe, and radio broadcasting has become an important and effective tool helping the US and its allies build strong relationship with the locals and educate them to stand up against conflicts and extremism, which in return makes our troops. No endorsement of Kaito by the US Department of Defense, Department of State, United Nations, American Red Cross, or by their personnel is intended or implied. The 7 weather channels are preprogrammed and numbered from 17. You can easily and conveniently tune into the stations by turning the tuning knob. Plus, if the radio is set at the alert mode, it will be automatically activated when it receives the alert signals from the NOAA weather stations. Specifications: headset jack socket 3. 5 sensitivity. Dynamo Miss W Theatre Voyager Max Canon 100 Voyager Trek KA350 Voyager Original KA500 Voyager Pro KA600 Voyager XL KA700 AM FM NOAA Weather Shortwave Real-Time Alert Bluetooth Digital Tuner Hand Crank Solar Power Rechargeable Battery 3. 7 2000 mAh Lion 3. Product linked in the description below. Our first question is from Jonathan Cobb. Description of KA500 says 5-way powered emergency radio. Photo of product says 4-way powered NOAA weather alert. Please explain. It has a switch on it for NOAA weather alerts. The 4-way power is this. It has a handle you can turn to charge it, that's 1. It has a solar panel for charging, that's 2. It has a lithium-ion or something battery that you can plug into the wall to charge, that's 3. And you can also put 3 AA batteries in it to power it. See more. It has a switch on it for NOAA weather alerts. The 4-way power is this. It has a handle you can turn to charge it, that's 1. It has a solar panel for charging, that's 2. It has a lithium-ion or something battery that you can plug into the wall to charge, that's 3. And you can also put 3 AA batteries in it to power it, that's 4. 4 ways to charge it. I like this radio, but wish I had bought the digital one for a few bucks more. See less. Product linked in the description below. For more content like this, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. See you next time.